Hello, welcome to Black Talk Show. I have Mignon Thomas here. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So let's talk about I'm gonna let you introduce yourself, and what we're gonna what you want to talk about your program that you have started or your
Okay, awesome. So I am Mignon, also known as Coach MT. I am a certified mental health and life coach, as well as a licensed nurse for I've been practicing about 14 years, and a Black businesswoman. So um, that's who I am, and I'm also heavily a mental health advocate, and I step out every day to make a difference in this world and try to help the people that are in the position I was yesterday be the person I didn't have.
okay. That's that's awesome. So let let's talk about you had a workshop. You had was it a workshop yesterday or what was it
Yes, it was similar to workshop. It was a stress relief support group that I will be repeating in the future, but it was awesome.
okay. Okay, I'm gonna go to the questions. Okay. My things start doing what they want to do. You know what? It's always something, ain't it?
Yeah,
So,
on a Monday.
okay. In society where Black women are often face unique challenges, both crucial culturally and professionally, how can we develop strategies to overcome these obstacles while maintaining our mental and emotional well-being?
The best way to be able to do that is to be in, if you're not in this group, to be in a group like it of your peers and be authentic and as raw as with your questions, concerns as you can. Like I was saying earlier, the difference about being in a support group that has everybody and a support group that is specifically tailored to empower the Black businesswoman is like some of the questions that are going to come up, or some of the questions that we're going to have as business women are going to be similar. But some of the questions, a lot of the questions that Black business women are going to be pinpoint to problems or obstacles that we're all having. And so you'll actually get those solutions, strategies like you were saying that you were looking from myself or whoever is facilitating the group or your peers, which are where most of the best information will come from the people who've actually been through that situation.
Okay. So next thing I want to empowering and self-care. So how can we empower ourselves I can't even get that out. Prioritize
Right.
self-care without feeling guilty or selfish.
So that's going to take a lot of mindset work because we have been conditioned to be this machine since the beginning of time back in slavery. And that's not nothing that we're going to wake up and it's just going to go away. So inside our sessions, inside the group sessions, as well as my clients that I work with one-on-one, I do a lot of mindset training. And so you the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. Most likely we are in this position because we put others before ourselves. So you may have to do some affirmations, you may have to do some journaling exercises, and you may have to do some. I use CBT in some of my sessions as well, which is a cognitive behavioral therapy. But it is great because it will. What I like about it is it's evidence based and it influences your behavior without your brain interfering and trying to hijack the whole situation. But it's going to take time, it's going to take repetition, it's going to take speaking it out loud, doing that heavy duty mindset work, and reminding yourself that if you're not good, then the people that are relying on you don't even have a chance at being good.
Mm. Yeah, okay. Sounds good. Okay, the next question is building resilience. Could you share techniques that mindsets that can help Black women build resilience, especially when dealing with systematic pressures?
And yes, one of the favorite quotes that I like, I don't know who made it originally, but it often helps me because we're going to get knocked down a lot. As business owners, whatever, you're going to get a whole bunch of obstacles. And 9 times out of 10, the business that you want, it's not going to go through the first or the second time, and you really don't want it to. But keep the mindset of that Rome wasn't built in one day. I love that because myself included, I find myself getting down when I've checked all of the boxes. I did all of the steps. I did everything that my coach, the
Yes.
consultant, and the people, my peers around me are doing, but it just didn't go through for me how it was supposed to, or I felt like it was supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
And I often share with my clients and just remind myself, which everything I use in my sessions, I use on myself first. I get high off my own supply. I remind myself
Mm-hmm.
that I am where I'm supposed to be. So if we adapt that mindset, it will clear. I take out the mind trash, as some people say that you're not worthy, you're not good enough, ain't nobody gonna support me anyway. All that jazz like that when you're trying to hear it. But when you take out that mind trash and you can sit down with your team, with your coach, or whomever, even by yourself, and journal and come up with what is the solution that you're trying to get to. You have to, a lot of times we stumble because we don't have clarity about around what we really want. But just
Mm-hmm.
doing that small piece right there can help you overcome some of those obstacles. It's like, okay, I want to make 10K in a week. Okay. Now you got something concrete. So you have something to build on. What's stopping you from doing that? Or what do you need in order to do that? What do you need to do? Well, I need to sell 10 of these if you got, 1,000
Mm-hmm.
a pop. I need to sell at least 10 of these. Then how am I going to sell 10? Am I going to want to sell sporadically? That doesn't work very well as a freebie. Or am I going to have like a formula?
Mm-hmm.
What have I done in the past that has worked for me and has not, and why? But just starting that line of thought, getting clarity around the situation, doing that, taking that mind trash out, the
Mm-hmm.
thing about
Yeah.
nobody's supporting us, so we can get to business.
Okay. Next is balancing identities. Many Black women wear different hats and carry multiple identities. How can we effectively balance our personal, professional, and cultural identities without feeling overwhelmed?
With practice, with patience, with work. The first thing you're going to need to do is set boundaries. And this is going to be a little foreign. This is something that we adapt. When we find that solution, we take it on and we do things most of the time like full force. Like you say, go 100 all the time. If you go 100 all the time, you're going to tap out.
Yeah,
That's
burn
our
out.
body's mind. We were not meant to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then that's one of the things that we need to get away from the struggle, addiction to the struggle, addiction to the grind. Like
Mm-hmm.
I said, if you busy every day, don't have time for your family, especially yourself, and your bank account don't reflect that, and your family don't reflect that, you too busy. Something's going on. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what I find a lot of people in this journey get frustrated is they're busy with things that aren't income
Yeah.
producing things. But if we just start with that mindset and keep every I keep saying mindset, but everything really starts in the mind.
Mm-hmm.
But start with that mindset and then just go from there. Setting boundaries. Okay, like for the workshop yesterday, I know a lot of people, women, business women, and women in general, put themselves last all the time. Or they'll say, well, my home is really busy. I don't really have time, because you're looking at the next person. I was like, there always, where there's a will, there's a way. When I first
Yes.
started out, I would do sessions in my closet. I
Mm-hmm.
would go do sessions in my bathroom, and other people are still doing that. And that's why I like doing conversations like this, so people can see that we are real people with real struggles.
Mm-hmm.
We have tech problems, all
Mm-hmm.
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But you start there and then just allow it to evolve. But set boundaries that I'm gonna do this for me this time on this day, no matter what pops off, somebody better be dying in the hospital if I'm gonna move this.
Yeah.
You know, and then when you go home, I'm really big on this. When you go home, leave your work at the office.
Yeah.
Find the time to cut it off and be fully present with your quote unquote legacy of the people that you do it from, even if it's just your little dog, because you need that break.
And what if your work is at the house?
Well, I take my work home too,
Yeah.
but I set the boundary. Said, nope, I'm not gonna do that. So some of the things that I'll do is I'll shut the computer down, but having a work area, not
Yeah.
working everywhere.
Yeah.
So you won't have access. Like now, since I actually do have a office, brick and mortar office, sometimes I don't go anywhere without my iPad because that's like why I got it, so that I can work from wherever I'm at, have access
Hmm.
to everything. But
Hmm.
sometimes I would go off and leave my iPad at the office on purpose so that when I'm sitting down supposed to be spending quality time with my family and we just watch TV, you know, I won't be tempted to open it up and start playing on Canva, read
Yeah.
email, stuff like that.
Okay.
So structure is very important.
Hmm.
Very important.
Okay. Let's next is addressing imposter syndrome. What strategies can you adapt to overcome and self-doubt and recognize our achievements?
So one, it's a little strategy that I use with all of my clients, especially when they're launching like a new product, brand, or service. And most of them, they're launching something that is within their strengths, their top 5 strengths. So something that they do at work or something they've been doing all their life. So when they got everything together, and I do this myself, I have them to go write a letter. But at the time, you know, now if you become my client later, but at the time,
Hmm.
they actually think I need this document for something for me. But
Yeah.
I'll tell them, okay, you're ready to go. So go write out the reasons why you are the expert for X, Y, and Z. And
Hmm.
they look back and, you know, you look at like the situations that you've been in. For example, if you're someone that's been struggling with grief and overcame it, okay, you're the perfect person to talk to about that because you can relate. Like if you're a nurse and now you're a nurse consultant or whatever, you look at your track record and write out all the things that you've done, like all the positions you've held, the projects you worked on, and it goes for anybody in any lane that you work in. Look at like the reasons why you decided or came to the conclusion that you are the expert for that. Do that work, which it is a mindset activity. Write it out. Don't have to be long, but with facts. Fill it with facts
Hmm.
and examples on why you are the ideal person for this and why you're the chosen one for this, you
Hmm.
know. And once you do that, it's for you so that you can bring that when you're on your dark days, because we know people don't be really just knocking our doors all in the beginning or every day to
Hmm.
come throw money at you. But on those dark days or when that little imposter syndrome creeps up, you can pull that back out or open it on your phone. So I take a picture of mine and you can go back and you can read it. And that will help you because you're operating off of facts, not just
Yeah.
I feel like.
That I can do this, so I can. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next one is healthy boundaries. Uh, how can Black women establish and communicate boundaries in various areas of our lives without feeling guilty? It's kind of like the same question, but like, like when people work in corporate America, they feel like they have to do a certain thing to reach that level or that ladder in their job. So how can we set healthy boundaries in that area?
You're gonna need to go talk to God or whomever that you talk to. God is God for me.
Uh-huh.
And you're going to need to make up in your mind that you are a woman of integrity and you're not going to do anything outside of that.
Hmm.
And anything outside of that is not for you.
Hmm.
It's not. It will pay you back, but it will not pay you the way that you think it's going to pay you. But that is solely what I do. In business, in my personal life, it don't matter. But go back to the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. You don't have to do those shady things in order to climb the ladder. I know what we've been told, but look around and we have found other solutions. That's what's good about being in the support group, like I said earlier. You will be with like-minded people that have had these similar struggles and actually get the answers to it, how they went about it, what happened while they were going about that, so you can take what you want from that and build on it. Like
Mm-hmm.
you want to go up for this promotion or whatever, but you've been shot down every single time. And it's something wrong with it. And I just had this conversation with somebody recently. And I was like, okay, so what you need to do is go and write them a to whom it may concern email and address what you're feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't have to kiss their butt for the lack of a better term in
Yeah.
order to get there. Call them out on it. We've
Mm-hmm.
been conditioned to be humble in the moments that we need to be speaking up.
Yes.
So, simple stuff like that. But just make it up in your mind and make that promise or sometime contract to yourself that you're not going to do anything that's going to pull you outside of your integrity. Because your brand heavily depends on it, as well as your
Yeah.
soul.
Yeah. So networking and support. So could you offer advice on how Black women can network effectively and find mentors who understand and appreciate our unique experiences? So your stress group is going to do that. So speak on that.
Yes. So I decided I worked in several areas. I started off doing mental health coaching, just strictly that, and it evolved into like a business coaching platform that I love, but where I was spending the majority of my time on was the mindset pieces. And that's the thing I would get out of bed for at 3 in the morning when one of my sisters or clients is struggling and it just comes to me. I just know it. So I decided to birth this group so that Black business women and those that want to support us can be a part of it to learn more about the journey as a Black business woman. That's the career woman as well. When you're in that group of your peers, you will be amazed because my head has been blown by the groups that I'm in. Like my coach, we have a group, and the days that I get the most out of our sessions when we meet are the days that I don't even ask a question. It
Mm-hmm.
be the days that other people are asking the questions. And what I really love about it is because it's people from different, regions, different like business as far as entrepreneurship, business as far as, climbing the corporate ladder. And
Mm-hmm.
those things work together. But just being around them and listening, and I may not even be on the level that they're on right now. But that's gonna help me now because they done already overcame all the struggles I have
Yeah.
today. So the stress, I call it the stress release support group because we're focusing on what is hindering a lot of us mentally, physically, and in our brains is stress.
Mm-hmm.
And it manifests in so many different ways. But us meeting to talk about that will birth so many other different things.
Okay. So next is financial well-being. Economic disparities have impacted Black business disproportionately. How can we work towards financial stability and success while also advocating for equality opportunities?
Being informed, being in the know, showing up to talks like this because you have some amazing experts that come on this show. Reading, finding out the information and sharing. That's one thing I love about you, Coach Tina, is that when you find something, you share it with everybody. Now it's upon us to pick up what you just put down and go do something with it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't know the information, find out how to get it. If you know that that's where your weakness is, financial literacy, okay, go read and learn about it. And then if you really want to take the shortcut, hire somebody. And if it's just not clicking to you, you need to at least have, like I say, a sixth grade level education as far as finance. Everybody should
Yeah.
be able to do that if you're going to be in business. But that's why they have accountants. That's
Mm-hmm.
why they have people that are over. I can't think of the comptroller. That's why they're
Mm-hmm.
over. Like as you grow, you'll
Mm-hmm.
bring on all these other people. But find out about it and being candid and raw about it. Look, stop saying things like I'm not good with money, I can't do this. Put your
Yeah.
best foot forward and you'll be surprised what you can achieve. And most importantly, forgive yourself for the debt that you have taken on and make a conscious effort to not do that again. There's so much power in that. We can get all the financial resources we want. We can even get a hold to people that have funding. But until you forgive yourself for the mistakes that you've made in the past, and I'm not even going to call them mistakes, I call them decisions. The
Mm-hmm.
decisions that you made in the past, because 9 times out of 10, we end up in debt because of someone else. Or we
Yeah.
end up in debt because we're trying to do better. We're trying to do something, it's going to help this world or whatever. Student loan debt, hello, regardless of what
Yeah.
you say about it. Well, you want an education,
Mm-hmm.
but stop beating yourself up about that. So I know people that have that's one of the major things. People that have like 100K worth of student loan debt and can barely get a job making 30K. So it
Yes.
weighs on you
Mm-hmm.
mentally and physically if you let it, but you have to forgive yourself from that instead of saying, I knew I should have took them loans. They told me that interest rate was gonna be sky high, and they told me I was gonna be able to do this, do that. Okay, it didn't work, but we have things in place now. If you get out there and research, look and ask, and then be ready to receive what they say. Like if you have a 436 credit score and you're going there to get a business loan, they turn you down. Okay, find out what you need to do in order for them to approve you, and then go
Mm-hmm.
work on that. Don't just give up.
Yeah. Okay, next question is positive affirmations. So you was speaking on affirmations. I love affirmations too because they're just speaking down on you. You don't know how to do financial aid, get financial help or whatever. Speak on for affirmation, how important that is. Can you suggest powerful information specifically tailored to boost the confidence and self-worth of Black women?
Yes. So just about every day, if you follow me, I'll share affirmations. And they're speaking to the mental aspect because that's where everything starts, it's the brain. And the one I shared today, we can really resonate with is it was I can remember, it was like that. I'm leaving the past in the past. I'm not spending any time worrying about the future. I'm going to be fully present in today because it is a blessing to be here and you're having it's another opportunity to get it right with God. It's another opportunity to do that thing that you needed to do for your business in order to do this. Um, I call it the success list, but another opportunity to get those things in order and get those right. But like I am the expert in blah 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 field
Mm-hmm.
because I encourage people to make up their own affirmations and I share mine to get the wheels turning. But what helps me, especially with creating them, is Myron Golden, one of the coaches when I attended one of his challenges. They're awesome if you haven't done it. But and I'll get no money from that. I'm just saying, just sharing the wealth. But
Yeah. Yeah.
one thing he made me realize that when we say I am, nothing negative should ever come after that. And
Mhm.
I say that I've shared that with my family, especially in my home. We beat ourselves up too much. But when we say I am, nothing negative should follow that because God's name is the great I am.
Yes.
So we should never say I am stupid. Really? You put
Yeah.
nothing negative behind,
I,
God's name. So you can start there.
mhm.
I am a beautiful, smart Black woman. I
Mhm.
am a powerful Black woman. And I like to say Black because it's not socially really acceptable for us
Mhm.
to be proud of our Blackness. But
Mhm.
you need to, that's one. I am proud of my Blackness. There's
Yeah.
so much power in that. And I'm going to
Mhm.
save that for later. But there's so much power in owning that statement and
Mhm.
saying it. But yes, I love affirmation.
Okay. This went to something else. Okay. Okay. Cultivating joy. So how can we intentionally seek and cultivate moments of joy and happiness in our lives?
Defining what joy means to you And like I say, celebrating those small wins, as well as the big ones, because we have to condition ourselves to celebrate us. We
Yes.
celebrate everybody else, but we
Yeah.
don't celebrate us. But it's really important to define what joy actually means to you.
Yeah. I know we was talking about earlier about the mental health aspect of a Black woman in business or just women in business, period. Can you speak on that? Why you feel like that it's a stigma for us to not even discuss that?
hmm Even with all the work that we're doing out there, silencing the stigma, is so much more work that needs to be done. And it just really relates back to the fact that, and I know a lot of people are going to disagree, and you need to do some mindset work on that, but the stigma around us acknowledging the mental health or mental wellness aspects of that is you feel like you're acknowledging a weakness.
Mhm.
And it's like you don't want to do that. It's like you have this stigma that a business, especially since we're women, and then we're Black women on top of that,
Mhm.
it's that sense of I can't show no weakness.
Mhm.
You get that image of like this big corporate lady or
Mhm.
whatever, and that she's all this and all that, and she never let them see her sweat.
Mhm.
There's a productive and positive way to never let them see you sweat that's effective, that will not impact your mental and physical well-being.
Mhm.
So, but we have to acknowledge the fact that we struggle,
Mhm.
and we're gonna let it go. We're gonna
Yeah.
learn from it, we're gonna move on. And I'm gonna go and get these mental health tools now so that I don't end up in a position to where um I'm heavily dependent upon them because I've been neglecting myself all this time. Knowing that we're taking, if you're in the business world, you're taking on extra stress.
Mhm.
So I don't know how many times I can say stress in this episode, but we are promised stress in this lifetime. There's other stress that people are going to put on us just because that's who they are and what they do. And then lo and behold, we decided we was going to run a business.
Yeah.
That's stress in Pandora's box.
Yeah.
So we have to learn how to navigate it effectively.
Yeah. 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 That's important because I'm like, when stuff don't go right, then you get down on yourself, and then you think, oh, this I didn't do this, and I didn't do this right, or
hmm
this didn't happen the way I thought it should happen. But you gotta learn how to pivot. But after you learn how to pivot, you still have those feelings.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So talking about it, also in this stress group, they'll be able to talk about things that's actually stressing them through their business journey. Is that right?
Yes. Right. One of the things that I like to point out is that we often think about the stress that comes with when our launch fails. Like
Mm-hmm.
you're working on this all this time, and then you launch it and nobody showed up.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you focusing on the fact of nobody showed up? Focus on the fact that you got this done and you launched it.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. You have to remind yourself that. So what I do is, and I use this in my mental health coaching practice as well, is I give myself an appointed time to sit with those negative feelings. Instead of ignoring them or trying to talk over them, acknowledging them. Okay, yeah, man, this launch was a bust.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Man, I put my heart and soul in this. I don't know what happened. All these people said they were coming. I mean, they said this what they wanted. I did all of that. I mean, I checked the market. I did everything, but it just, I don't know what happened. And so I allow myself to be frustrated, disappointment, mad, sad, or maybe like I'll give myself me, since I'm really hard on I'll give myself a day. I let myself sit there for a day if it's like a big project.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it. Then after that, okay, I need to sit with and deal with things. Why this didn't go right? What happened? Or did it work the way it was supposed to? What can I learn from this experience? That'll help you to deal with the negative emotions that's going to come. That's normal, but just don't sit in them. When you acknowledge them and give them a voice, then you can process it and move on. Because it's gonna come up again next time you get ready to launch, especially if you just try to squash it. Like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm good. Da, da, da. Then you get ready to regroup and do it again. Here come imposter syndrome. You did it last time and then nobody showed up. Ain't nobody come and see you, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So, like on your group, can you tell, like, is it going to be on certain days or it's going to be once a month? How is your group going to run?
Yeah, so I will be doing another free support group. I haven't decided on a date, but I'm thinking about maybe 2 weeks out from today. I will try to keep them on a Sunday evening because we usually don't have any obligations, or if we do, it's gonna be before the time that I pick. But for those that are actually enrolled into my program, we will meet once a month and deal with this. But with the stress relief challenge that I'm running, that I'll be announcing later on today or early in the morning, I'm going to run or offer another free support group for the bigger community. That way they can interact and come and get what we have to give and implement those strategies. And it also gives opportunity for those that have been interested in working with me to test it out and to move forward if they desire to, if it's your time. But one of the things we talked about yesterday was like what stress looks like to you. How would you like to actually manage, what would you like to see happen as far as the stress in your life? How do you want to manage it? Because unfortunately it's not going to just poof, go away. There are a lot of things that we can get rid of, and I'm a big supporter of that, because less is more. But some things you just have to deal with. You have to find a positive way. And when I say positive, I don't mean the oh, well, well, look at the bright side always. But no, the way that's going to acknowledge and protect you in the long run, on dealing with these said things, so we don't get the negative aspect of it. But one client, I have a quick review. Yesterday we talked about stress. We focused on the impact of mental health stress, and a lot of us know that that stress is directly related to some diagnosis of anxiety and depression and other mental health conditions later on in life if not handled properly. And then there's physical consequences that are directly related to the cardiovascular system. Go look all this up. Don't depend on me. But the main thing that I'm seeing, and a lot of us are coming out of and still dealing with the COVID brain fog, and then like the menopause. I am dealing really bad with like the brain fog. So it's just like really bad. So I'm like, and then we're those of us that are stuck in that lane, we battling both of those. So we talked a little bit about what we've seen in that and the strain on your relationships. The ones that you say you're doing this for, it's going to strain the relationship a little bit. It's something to get used to because they don't just have open access to you all the time anymore. But put those on the table and provide it like a solution for us to work through as a group so that we can follow up and talk about that in maybe the one-on-one session that they book with me, or in the next group session that we will have next month for those members. But one thing she said was it was refreshing to be surrounded by other Black women who understood the complex nature of the experiences of being a Black businesswoman, through open discussion and exercises, that she learned an effective way to manage stress and protect her mental and physical well-being. It was truly a game changer. Sorry. And it gave her time to reflect on what stress really was looking like in her life. And it's so much stuff that we overlook and sometimes sit in front of the doctor and complaining about and mad at him because they don't have a solution, but it's really stress that's really affecting us.
Okay. Yeah. So when you talk about anxiety And is that the same thing as, is depression and anxiety the same, or is that different in a way? I mean, how do people know if that's what they're going through, anxiety or depression?
So you're gonna want to you can go to one of the government sites and just Google signs and symptoms of anxiety or depression, so you can get a concrete list. But with anxiety, that comes and just because you experience some anxiety and depression doesn't necessarily mean you have a diagnosis. Those are regular emotions.
Hmm.
But because we're always, looking out for what's gonna come next, and for whatever reason, we are prone to expect or anticipate the negative.
Hmm.
That drives a lot of our businesses in the ground. But we anticipate the negative. And with you steadily doing that, you're training your brain to always be on fight or flight. And
Hmm.
you can sometimes, that can get stuck like that, basically. And you'll develop an anxiety disorder if it goes on too long. And then anxiety and depression, they play this little game
Hmm.
back and forth. Because I know all too well that when you are a person that can function with high levels of anxiety, your risk of developing a depression or a major depression are greatly increased related to the person that is dealing correctly with their anxiety or better, for lack of a better term. Um, but depression, that's the not wanting to do the things that you like to do. Like say you love to go shopping. You love to somebody invites you out to eat, you're a food connoisseur and you don't want to go. That was one of the indicators for me. That was one, like, and you're not paying for it either. And it's like, you want to go here, whatever. And I was like, no, I'm good. You want to sleep all the time, even though you're well rested, or you can never get enough sleep.
Hmm.
Um, Things like that are starting to feel like people would be better off. If you start to feel like that, you definitely want to get in to speak to someone ASAP, or dial 9 or text 988 and speak to a representative. But my goal is to get ahead of all of these things, like you asked, and provide more education on what that's going to look like before it get bad. And then for those of us who unfortunately already struggle with this, and maybe some of us even have the diagnosis, provide us a way or a solution to overcome that, even though we're given like the short end of the stick. It's a little bit more difficult, like for us, can you just say some affirmation and hope that it goes away? That's when I pull out the tricks or the tools from the CBT and the DBT, and I get more and more in depth on that, inside of my group. And sometimes um, you may just need to go talk to a therapist.
Hmm.
You may get
Okay.
to that point.
All right. So do you have any final remarks before we go? Want to tell them how to reach you if they want to join your program or get in your group?
Yes, absolutely. I am dedicated to helping at least 100 more Black business women overcome this stress obstacle, because it is far too many of us losing our lives, and it's directly related to stress when I look at the statistics, because of the disorders and stuff that we are inspiring related to, and at a young age. So this is really coming from my heart. And for those that are interested, I encourage you, if you're not already following me, follow the Simply Coach MT page on Facebook or Instagram, or just look me up by Mignon Thomas. I'm there as my real name, so it's easy to find me. But I will be releasing the date later on when the next free group is. If you want to bypass the group and just schedule one-on-one, go to the Simply Coach MT page, and you can inquire there, and we can get the ball rolling.
Okay. But thank you for coming on the show today. Well, I enjoyed our conversation. You gave us a lot of good information. So,
I hope
so
it
I,
wasn't too much.
no, it wasn't. I just hope they join your group. We all need that group to be around other women that's actually going through some of the same things we're doing. and to release some stress. Who doesn't want to release some stress?
Right, in a positive way. Like I
In a
tell
positive way, yeah.
they come see me, I said, yeah, we have to find you a project. I said, and something that's not gonna weigh you down or mess you up physically, and
Mhm.
something that is not going to deplete your pocketbook. So we have to find alternate methods. So people say, well, we're gonna go and I like to go eat. Okay, be responsible. And I like to go shop and I like to do this and all these things that are pulling,
Mhm.
from other areas and create problems. But
Yeah.
I really enjoy myself and I like doing this as well. It's just the person that I am. And one last thing I'll say, the benefit of being in this group is that why I specifically focus on Black business women is because obviously I'm a Black businesswoman and have realized some of the struggles that we endure. But when I'm in other groups and I ask questions, my questions really don't get answered. They don't, and it's not because they're being mean, negative, or anything. They don't understand what I'm asking.
Mhm.
And if they do provide an answer, it doesn't. I'm like, yeah, I know all that, but what I'm saying is this. And it's
Yeah.
not like, oh, well, I hope that's really not it. It'll be like more the lines of, yeah, that highly could be the reason. I've dealt with this, and this is how you will find out, and this is what you do next. To give me a leg to stand on because those obstacles are there. And unfortunately, they're not going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah.
But where there's a will, there's a way.
All right. Thank you for coming on the show. Y'all go follow her.
You're more than welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.